Mickey, Minnie. So this is where you call home, Mickey's Toontown. You know, for years, Disneyland guests wondered where Mickey and his pals lived. In 1993, the gang decided to open the gates to the zany, wacky world of toons. So let's see how the Imagineers spun this cartoon world off the animator storyboard and into Disneyland.
Mickey's Toontown, and which came along with Joel Cicero and others.
We were given the assignment to create the land where Mickey Mouse lives, because one of the major complaints at Disneyland was, where do we meet Mickey? Where does Mickey live? So initially our project just started out as the little neighborhood where Mickey and the characters lived. So of course, we knew we were gonna have to have a house for Mickey and a house for Minnie, and we started to design all that. It's all about understanding the personality of the characters. And those Fab Five characters are very well defined. Everyone knows who Mickey is, and you know, Mickey's the leader, he's everyman, you know, he's humble. And so we started talking about what kind of house would Mickey live in, you know, based on his personality. And I remember there were some debates about how grandiose it should be, because, you know, there were people within the company that felt that it should be a mansion-like house. And we said, no, that's not Mickey. Mickey is a humble guy, he's everyman. You know, he grew out of Walt's imagination, and Walt was all about small-town America. And so this should be a reflection of Mickey and Walt. And right here in Southern California, in Pasadena, we have a style called bungalow, which is very interesting architecturally, but it's the overall feeling and appeal is its warmth. It's very warm and friendly. It's all of Mickey and Walt. Then we started thinking about Minnie, and not wanting to be stereotyped, you know, with little girls and frilly little, you know, gingerbread and all, but there was an expectation there. I mean, it was Minnie, and that's how she played in those films. This design certainly said feminine, certainly said Minnie, but there was a level of design sophistication to it that took it beyond a little dollhouse. And in fact, if you study that house, there's a whole variety of architectural styles in there. But the overall effect is still feminine and sweet and Minnie. And then we got to Goofy's house. And I actually did the first design for Goofy's house because it was the easiest. And because Goofy is Goofy, you know, and the simplest thing was to make everything a little off-kilter, like Goofy. But one thing I started playing with Goofy's house that then kind of made its way to all the other houses was the idea of color identification. Every one of those characters had a basic costume color scheme that people identified with them. Goofy with the green hat and the orange vest, and Mickey, of course, with the red pants and the yellow shoes, Minnie with the polka dot skirt. And so we picked up on those color schemes, and we actually started to look at physical things that we could do to the exterior of the houses, like Goofy's hat, that physically started making them look like the characters, but in a subliminal way. When you walked up to it, it just made logical sense. Oh, that's the house Goofy would live in. We knew we wanted to do another dark ride in Toontown. Another dark ride meant we need to do something different. Roger Rabbit is frenetic, so it was like, oh, this is perfect. We had the perfect ride vehicle from the movie, was Benny the Cab, a spinning cab going through Toontown. So to prove the concept, we went down to Disneyland after hours one night and was able to get them to take a teacup, real-life teacup, and we put it on the Pinocchio ride vehicle. And we took a little ride through Pinocchio just to see how it changed the dynamic of the experience. And on the surface, it was fun, but the thing that really stood out was all of a sudden, none of the vignetted moments were as important as the overall environment. So it immediately told us that we're going to have to take a different design approach to Roger Rabbit than the traditional dark rides where you move into a scene, there's a figure here, a backdrop there, and the track is usually configured to give you a view at those elements. All of a sudden, all bets were off where guests were going to be looking because we were allowing them to spin 360 degrees.